Alright guys, what's going on? We've got the International Women's Day Boss Rush for 2021, and a lot of you guys know that I designed a fight for it. So, the target audience for this, I think, is like uncollected players being able to complete it, early Cavalier players, so a lot of people who are like Thronebreaker and done with everything else aren't going to find this very challenging. But it's not necessarily meant to be like easy enough for new players to complete it. But I think that you can, depending on skill level. So I'm just going to go over some counters here and show you guys. I'm not going to play this very well. I just recorded it. This was my second time going through it. I'm not, going for perfect gameplay here. But this first fight here is going to be Elsa Bloodstone. And it has disc track on it and life transfer, so that's the main thing. All you need for this fight is somebody who places damaging debuffs on the defender. So pretty much almost anyone will work here. Her special one is unblockable, but only the first little piece of it is. So Archangel's really good for it. Apocalypse, Namor, Wolverine, X-23. You could use Human Torch, Hyperion. You could use Elsa. You can use pretty much anybody for that fight as long as they place damaging debuffs, especially Bleed. But if you're going to use somebody with Bleed, you want to make sure that they're a mutant. This next fight here, I've seen a lot of people say they're getting roadblocked by this fight. I'm going to take a combo at the beginning of this. But this fight is really not too hard. I could see it being a little more challenging with like 4 stars maybe, but I think that Void is probably the best counter for this. Human Torch works really well too. Magic, Captain America, Infinity War. Pretty much anyone with like good block proficiency or power control. Anyone that can nullify her buffs. Because this has aspect of evolution on it. And this is actually a really common placement for Sorcerer in like high tier Alliance War. She's placed on the aspect of evolution and increased power gain mini boss, so if you play Alliance War competitively, you're kind of familiar with this fight already. This fight also has Shatter, so ideally you don't want anybody who gets a lot of buffs. Her special one will nullify buffs. And when you're going to evade her special one, that's really like I think the most important thing in this fight is knowing how to do that. Her first 2 projectiles in the special one are evaded with the same dash back, so it's almost like a beam. So you only have to evade 2 times in order to fully evade the special one. So super easy fight, not bad at all. This next fight, Black Widow, I probably made this fight too easy in retrospect. This is the fight that I designed. So basically it has enhanced ability, so she'll evade a little bit more. It has heavy hitters, so, you can't like bait out heavy attacks and go in. It has stun vulnerability, so if you're able to stun her, you'll have a really easy time with this. Archangel can parry her every time. Apocalypse is good for this fight. Omega Red's good for this fight. You could easily use Ghost. You could use Namor. You can use almost anybody. So Rogue would be good for it to power steal. This next fight here, this is going to be Jubilee. So this is another fight that I think some people were struggling with. But, and I think I'm going to mess up in this fight. Basically, you just don't want to apply debuffs to her. She can shrug them off and she'll gain power. She also gains power from having buffs. So I'm going to run into her heavy attack there. That was a mistake. So I'm going to use Human Torch with the pre-fight on for this fight. Because his Nova Flames don't count as debuffs. So, yeah, you could also use Omega Red for this fight. If he has 10 spores on her, she won't be able to shrug off any of your debuffs, so she'll never get power gain from that. I'm trying to think. A nullifier, like a mystic nullifier, Dr. Doom, Clairvoyant, anybody to nullify those buffs that she gets would really be helpful. Anyone with power control. You basically want buff control or power control or somebody who doesn't apply debuffs. So, or somebody who gains a lot more buffs than she gains. So I mean, you can use almost anybody on this fight too. It's really, as long as you understand like who to bring in for it, it's not too bad. I think it was probably the most challenging fight though, just because there's so much stuff going on. There's a ton of ways for her to gain power, and I think a lot of it is just that most people don't really know her animations very well, but Human Torch makes it easy. And I would have brought in a 5-star Omega for this. I didn't want to use any rank 3 6-stars. But I don't have a 5-star Omega Red that's awakened or ranked up. So this fight, this is Tigra. Tigra's really scary. That being said, this fight isn't too bad. Her specials a lot of times are unblockable anyway. But this fight does have Psychic Thorns. So you can either bring in somebody who does energy damage, or somebody like Archangel who, with neurotoxins, he will just shut the node off. And it also has power shield, so your special attacks are going to do a lot of damage. So you can see here, I just decided to use Archangel. I feel like it's pretty reasonable to assume that people brought him in if they have him. But yeah, this fight is not a big deal at all. Other options would be like Human Torch. You could use Namor. You could use Omega Red, Dr. Doom, pretty much anybody. Magic, that's someone else that you could use for that fight. Okay, and then this is the last fight here. I saw some people saying like, oh, if you don't have Namor, you can't do this. That's definitely not true. There are a lot of champions you can use for this, and I'm just going to show 3 options. So obviously Quake works here. Anytime that she glances a hit, she's going to reflect damage back onto you, but she can only glance basic attacks. She can't glance special attacks. So if you wanted to, you could use like Ghost and just phase a bunch of hits until you get to a special 2. And the special 2 won't glance, you won't take any damage back from that. You can obviously use Namor if you want. You can use Void and just like parry a bunch and like maybe do like a light attack, and eventually you'll get to a special 1. So here I'm just gonna let her kill me, and we're gonna go in with somebody else. Archangel works really well. Omega Red works fine. Blade, you could just parry her a bunch. Hyperion, because he gains so much power, you could literally just like wait to get to a special attack and then just use that. You don't even have to hit her to get to a special attack. Nick Fury has 2 lives, you know, he might work. But yeah, so Archangel. This is actually who I used the first time that I did this fight. Or maybe it was Omega Red, I'm not sure. Archangel makes this fight easy. And I am going to quit out of here and just like in a second here and just show you guys how to do it with Void. So I didn't want to quite kill her yet. But yeah, obviously Namor might be best. Void, all you need to do is just go in and parry her. Sometimes if you have an opponent parry stunned, they are less likely to glance your hits. That's just what I've found. I take a Captain America Infinity War and AQ that has the same node as this. Basically, it reflects damage back onto you if he glances a hit. So at any time that he's parried and I'm using Corvus, he doesn't glance my hit. So just gonna go ahead and parry, and you know, eventually you get to a special 1, you use the special 1 won't glance, and I've done the entire fight with Void too. It's really not too hard. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciated the opportunity to get to participate in the boss rush. So that was actually my third time going through it. But I really appreciated the opportunity to get to do this. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If anybody's been having trouble or knows of other counters that could like help people out, then I guess leave that in the comments so that other people will get an opportunity to finish it as well. I definitely think that the rewards were super fair for the difficulty level, and if you aren't able to complete it this time, don't worry. I mean, you have like a little while to try it, but you know, my first probably year playing this game, I was not able to complete any of the challenges, you know, like the boss rush the first time around was really hard for me. I wasn't really able to complete any of that stuff because my roster just wasn't there yet. It's not a big deal, it's just part of the game. It'll make it feel better when you are able to participate in it. But yeah, stuff, you know, like challenge stuff isn't meant for everyone right at the moment that you want to do it, but more will come around. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.